I don't either.
I'm just teasing.
I thought that's tomorrow.
I always like to see y'all squirm when I say that. Oh, goodness. We only have, what, 2 more meetings this week, so.
I know. Okay. It's Tuesday, December 12th, 2017. Let's call the meeting to order, and please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning up, boy.
Did you get everybody?
I think I did.
Okay.
Good job, Lynn.
Minutes and reports received and filed.
I have the auditor's November 2017 report filed.
Okay. Commissioner Committee Liaison Reports, upcoming meetings and events.
You got the Planning Commission meeting tonight. We got meetings tomorrow. And Campo tomorrow. Solid Waste Management District Board meeting tomorrow. HBA Christmas tomorrow night. I might be late Thursday morning. Just being honest here. That's about it.
We got a Parks meeting today. That's about it for these other meetings.
Go ahead. Cap Region Executive Board meeting tomorrow, but I have to be here, so
Sorry.
I'll miss that.
Should have got done last week.
Yeah. Then there's Thursday night, there's all kinds of, Not has an open house, and Legends Bank has their party, and Jeff State Lions Club has their party, and Knights of Columbus has their party.
So you're gonna be late Friday.
Yeah,
We got this.
and then Monday, Safety Net has an open house at Mill Bottom. So that's all I've got. Presentation from invited guests. So we're going to call on Steve Schultz to present Eric Landwehr with the Missouri chapter of the APWA Award.
Good morning, Commission. Thank you for the
Morning.
time to speak. So in our community, this is a big deal for public works. So as you can see, there's some people here representing our organization. So I'd first of all like to recognize those that are here, just to give you an idea of the support that's behind this and how important it is. So we'll go around the room and just let everyone individually identify themselves and who they're with.
Larry Ben, Cocaine Public Works.
Todd Kemper, Bartlett and West. Richard Stone, City of Columbia.
Paul Sampson, Central Missouri Professional Services.
Ricky, Central Missouri Professional Services.
Chuck Sullivan, Cook Flat Strobel Engineers.
Michelle Mahoney, Cook Flat Strobel Engineers.
Great. Thanks everybody for showing up and your support. So I got a few words to read. So if you don't mind giving me some time to read that, I appreciate it. I'm the president of the Missouri chapter of APWA, and I'm proud to recognize Eric Landwehr as the recipient of our chapter's Public Works Leader of the Year award in the public sector. The Missouri chapter of APWA includes 600 members and encompasses all outstate Missouri, including St. Louis. APWA is a not-for-profit professional association that was chartered in 1937 to promote professional excellence and exchange of knowledge. Our association now includes over 30,000 members that exist to develop and support the people, agencies, and organizations that plan, build, maintain, and improve our communities. Working together, APWA and its membership contribute to a higher and sustainable quality of life. Our motto is first to arrive, last to leave. This award was established in 1992 and seeks to inspire excellence and dedication in the private and public sectors by recognizing the outstanding career service achievements of engineering and technology professionals. The primary focus of this award is a recognition of exceptional leadership and management in the public works profession. The criteria used in the selection evaluation process include outstanding leadership and contributions to the Missouri chapter of APWA, significant contributions to the advancement of engineering and technology by participating in professional organizations, implementation of effective methods to optimize fiscal management of engineering and technology operations, promotion of the field of engineering technology management in the community, agency, or customer served. Since joining the Cole County Public Works Department in 2005, Eric has overseen the construction of numerous stormwater and street improvement projects and bridge replacement projects throughout the county. He was instrumental in completing the curb and gutter improvement project on Business 50 West in 2014. This is the largest project the county has completed to date. Eric has also worked to implement a proactive pavement preservation program and bridge maintenance program in the county. Eric has been a member of APWA since joining the county in 2005. In 2008, he was elected to the executive committee as a director. He served in many different leadership positions and was elected as president of the chapter in 2015. Recently, he was appointed to serve as a national chapter alternate delegate to the Council of Chapters for 2018. In that role, he will work with other chapter delegates throughout the country to advise the National APWA on the various national initiatives and strategic missions and act as a liaison to the local Missouri chapter. Please join me in congratulating Eric on this important achievement.
Speech.
Well, I received this award at our chapter conference in November, and totally surprised. I had no idea it was coming. Steve, of course, I'm sure knew. Larry Ben shows up to lunch, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Because he wasn't planning to be there, and then I immediately knew that that's what it was, because not only that, is they kind of motioned me to come sit at the head table. So I was really, really surprised and really honored to be recognized by my peers, and I really appreciate everybody coming today and supporting me in this award. It's not so much about me, it's about the work that we do as public works professionals, engineers, sometimes non-graduate people that work in the industry to support the goal of providing good public works projects for the community, either road, bridge. I mean, there's other parts to it as well. So it's a neat award, and I appreciate y'all allowing this to happen today, and Steve coming and everybody supporting me. So thank you very much.
So did working for us help you or hurt you in the votes? Well, I think it's well deserved. I didn't really want you to answer that.
I had to say yes.
Yeah, it's budget time, so I knew it would be a good answer, but it's well deserved, Eric. I appreciate everything you do for us.
Thank you.
Let's say Lynn.
Want the attention?
No, I don't want the.
Okay. I'll come.
Right here in the middle there.
You got it right.
No, yeah, in the middle.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
We don't have camera, right? You have a book yet?
Yeah, I'm just working on it. Several pages.
All right, everybody that came can probably leave.
You're welcome to stay.
For multiple reasons, I do have actual work to do.
Well, somebody else has something they wanted to say about it.
Yeah.
We can go ahead and roast him here while we have him. Hey, thanks for coming by.
Hey, Carl. Stacy.
Okay. Wait till Debbie comes. But we can do bids and contracts. I was gonna move not up, but.
That's fine.
Deb's
Go
out.
ahead.
Well, Debbie's,
Yeah, we need to wait on Debbie.
we need to wait on Debbie, so we'll do our
Why?
bids and contracts. 2017-39 medical supplies bid awards.
If you look at the bid tab, you can see this is over 300 line items. I met with Kevin and Ron and Jerry last week, and our discussion led us to recommend, for flexibility purposes, the lowest and best bidder available, but to also name Boundtree as the primary vendor. And any questions these guys can field for you.
We've been using Boundtree, we're happy with it. They offer more than just supplies. They actually bid everything on that sheet, unlike other vendors, but
They also offer some educational opportunities, and we have a good working relationship with them, and we're happy with the service that we're getting.
So I just don't know how we word that we, I mean, if we either award the Boundtree or we award the lowest and best with.
I would just say
available materials.
lowest and best with your understanding that that's their intention
Well, that's fine.
to
I mean,
primarily.
obviously shipping and all kinds of other things come into play with some of that stuff, I would think. So.
Boundtree offers, their bid is free shipping.
Right.
Okay.
They don't charge shipping.
Regardless of the order, or?
Depends if it's a necessity item, it gets overnight.
If you expedite something,
If we
then
ask
they may
for
charge
more
the
than just normal
standard.
shipping,
Right.
then that's a charge, but 2 to 3 days is when we get it zero shipping.
I mean, obviously, it's easier to work with one vendor for primary stuff unless it's something special that you guys need and they don't carry, or they're not very competitive with price, so. You guys okay with lowest and best with available material?
Yep.
Yeah.
I move that we award to the lowest and best with available materials.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now Debbie's back. I think we're gonna go ahead and kind of reverse. We'll go to renewal of property and liability insurance for 2018. That way Mr. Knott can go forth and do other.
Commissioners.
I know you guys have seen the email that we shared with you yesterday, so our recommendation is to stay with MoPerm for 2018. There's a couple different reasons there. I mean, Rick can talk about it too, as far as why he feels MoPerm is the place for us for next year.
I would state that, as you all well know, we've been with MoPerm for many years. It's a quasi-state agency, if you will. One of the primary concerns, particularly with the size of our county now, we had only a few companies that were responding to the casualty side. We didn't find any of the carriers that were able to provide the occurrence form for our public official liability and employment-related practices coverage. The other area of concern, because of our size, again, we've had great experience, but because of our size, is our law enforcement coverage as well. MoPerm has provided the last couple of years some additional safety training services that we've taken advantage of, particularly on the driver's side. Those type of services are available to all of our employees, and that's something I think we could work a little harder on perhaps with our staff this coming year. But experience has been great. We did have a slight increase in premium as compared to the last couple of years, but the broader coverages, we still think it's our best place in the marketplace.
And as far as what the occurrence means compared to just a year-to-year?
Yes. MoPerm is one of the few companies that will still offer the occurrence form, and again, primarily our concern is the public official and employment-related practices. An occurrence means that if that occurrence happened in 1990, let's say, was just now reported, that coverage is going to apply now. Whereas if we would shift to a claims-made policy, then that claim has to be made during the policy period. If we continue that claims made, we're okay. If we ever break that string, we have concern. I know a lot of the professionals showed strong interest in the past of knowing that MoPerm is going to be there for incidents that they may have been involved with years past.
Unless you guys have any questions, I know that it did go up a little bit, both on property and liability, but if you remember the last few years, we haven't really had that big of an increases. So So, and they are kind of a self-insured fund, so we do get rebates back. Unlike most other carriers, you wouldn't have that opportunity if there was any rebates to come back.
What's the difference in price on the occurrence insurance? Is it a big difference?
Most of them don't.
Because of the lack of competition in the marketplace, that price right now would actually be higher
Okay.
to find the claims-made policy.
Really?
Typically speaking, first year going in, the claims-made might be a little cheaper if you could find that coverage.
Okay. You were talking about the safety services stuff. Are we taking advantage of all of that training that we should be? Do you know, Debbie or
We're
Rick?
probably not. No, the driving safety one, it's kind of up to the departments to make sure their guys do that. I know the sheriff's department has done that, and Public Works has done that in the past. I'm not sure.
Is it a significant amount that would make a difference, or is it just?
Well, I might also add that not only is it a safety education, making our experience better, not having those losses, but in this case, we actually get credit back. I think we got $600 or $800 back for sending those folks to the safety meeting.
Okay.
So it's a win-win.
And some other departments have different avenues they go to get that training, so I've just not really made a push to them. But I think, Larry, you sent your guys before. I guess you think it's good for them. I mean, we can make advantage of it as far as that goes.
Well, I mean, we're going through budget right now and everything's tight. So any way we can save money, we need to look at doing it that way. So, I mean, that sounds like that's on us to take advantage of that. So,
Shall we send you, Jeff?
I'll teach it.
There's also safety videos out there, you know, if you guys so choose, we can make all employees take those, you know, require that. I know different departments have different requirements, you know, but we've not really pushed it for the admin type staff, but it's all good information.
On the liability coverage here, and of course, a big increase was under law enforcement.
Yes.
And a jump in about $20,000. So is that just because of some of the lawsuits and stuff that are going on with that? And do we take all this into account? Who pays for all this? I mean, is this all coming out of general fund?
No, I divide out the cost per fund.
By
Like law enforcement liability coverage, that all comes out of their fund.
Okay.
Their building comes out of their fund, their vehicles come out of their fund, so.
So the automobile coverage comes out of their fund?
Yeah, down at the bottom in that pink is
Mhm.
what comes out of each budget. So.
Okay.
Chris, to respond to your question or statement, was our history, our loss history with Cole County has been very good for the last probably 6 or 8 years. We had a string on the law enforcement for a short period that we had some ripples there. And way back to 86, I think it was. Since then, it's been very good. Statewide, the number of claims and severity of claims have been with law enforcement and primarily employment-related practices that we're seeing on TV every day. So those are the two areas, although the county has had very good experience. That's where those increases have been generated from.
So the bulk of the money coming out of general accounts is for probably buildings?
It's just for the buildings that really don't have any other fund to take them.
Right.
Yes.
So basically all the other buildings, courthouse, annex, Carnegie, health.
I do give the health theirs, it doesn't matter, they're still in general fund.
Right,
but I do
right.
divide it out to them.
Okay.
And juvenile divided out to them, but again, they're in general fund, so it doesn't really.
So what do you think the outlook is for the future? You think you're gonna see gains like this in the future? I mean, we kind of saw that with health insurance, you know, there for a while. Of course, ours is stabilized, but I know other people's are going up double digits yearly, and so do you think these costs will continue to escalate, or?
This was quite a change for MOPERM because they had been so level for so many years, and in fact, had been paying back return of contributions each year for, I think last year we had 11,000, 14,000 refunds, something like that. So they had used up a lot of their surplus.
Right.
I think this year they'll start that building stage again. We hope those losses are going to go down. If we keep getting the television news releases, maybe some of that will settle down even more. But who knows? But I would hope we have peaked and will be certainly leveling out.
Have we looked at the deductibles, how much of a difference that would be if we change those at all, or when's the last time we looked at those?
About 2 years ago, we increased that deductible from $2,500 up to $5,000.
Okay.
Made us a little bit of savings, not much. Going up higher was very insignificant.
Okay.
I might add that when we looked at our other carriers looking at this, the best we could find was a $100,000 deductible requirement on wind and hail versus the MOPERM's $25,000. Many of our carriers, because of the size of our property values, was 1% deductible on wind and hail, which was huge, particularly in our law enforcement building, and of course our complex here together is $40 million approximate. So, and that was another concern that kept a lot of the carriers at bay.
A lot of close proximity to several buildings.
Correct.
I don't got any other questions.
No, I probably ask you that every year, but okay, thank you.
Okay, so you need a motion, Debbie?
Yeah, if you would, all I have is a letter basically stating that we wish to continue coverage and a coverage acknowledgement that you guys would have to sign. So,
Is this a renewal or just?
Yes.
Or just,
just awarding the renewal for 2018.
I move that we renew our coverage with MOPERM for January 1st, 2018 to January 1st, 2019 for auto liability, auto physical damage, errors and omissions, employment practice liability, GL, law enforcement, medical malpractice, and property coverage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I will have to thank Rick for his service. I know he reads something in the paper and he'll call, like, do we need to get that insured? Do we need to do that? So he's very diligent.
Yeah.
Like unmanned aircraft?
That was another call. Very good.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thanks, Rick.
Okay, we will go back to our bids and awards. 2017-40 heavy equipment maintenance, repair, and parts.
Public Works have a lot of instances of, unforeseen repair needs. Basically, we put this out seeking blanket discounts and fixed rates for any repairs of that nature. We got 3 bids back, one from Shepherd's, one from Loft, and one from Fayette Cat. And the recommendation is to award to those 3 bidders on an as-needed and needed basis.
So does this cover all parts, truck parts and everything else too?
It should cover everything that they would provide to us.
Right.
And they're gonna have obviously different, overlaps with that,
So, obviously I'm glad that we got 3 bids here. I'm just concerned that we don't have prices from other vendors that we use quite a bit.
I got the list from Cliff of ones that he thought should be included. I sent out letters to them. So, I mean, it just kind of is what it is, I guess. They were notified via mail.
Right, but I mean, so, there's several that come to mind. Crown Power, we buy quite a few parts from for some of our equipment. Taylor Diesel, we've used quite a bit this year and some truck repairs. And so I'm just concerned, I don't want to narrow what you can do by awarding to these 3 vendors. Obviously, we can still do phone bids and everything else. I mean, I'm glad that we can kind of lock these in, but I'm just kind of talking out loud here too,
Yeah,
so.
it's our concern too, Chris. You know, like you said, we use Crown quite a bit. We use some from the Ford tractor place down at Lynn. There's a number of them, but you know, again, we can only lead the horse to the water.
Right. And if you got Deere equipment, you may be using a place out of Ashland. Isn't that the new loader that we bought, wasn't it a Deere?
It was a Case.
Oh, Case, okay, so Crown.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's, you know, as we try, this, I think the first year we really did this. So, you know, hopefully once word gets out, like I said, if we have an incident where someone knows that they may be lower than what we had, you know, we can, like I said, either take phone bids and we can re-emphasize to them that they need to get on the list next time,
So by awarding this, does it limit your ability to go get parts and do repairs?
I don't think so,
Crown?
I don't, to my, I can guarantee we'll be talking to you if we can get something cheaper. You know, with Crown, we're gonna have to, you know, there's not
Right.
any other, you know, the Case parts and stuff for our equipment there, but, you know, if we can find something, you know, at Taylor or you know, the diesel place over at Old Summit, we're gonna be coming to you. We would do phone bids, or check and see if we're hitting that 4,500 per month, or 3 months window, so.
This just locks in kind of rates and discounts.
Right.
Guys got any questions or?
I guess I don't really understand what we're locking in and if we can still go to Crown or somebody else.
It gives, to my knowledge, it helps us not have to parlay to the auditor's office. We've been purchasing stuff from Crown, from Caterpillar, based on if that was the equipment manufacturer, we were going to them for the parts. You know, I think there might be some question there whether that meets the requirements of the statutes as far as, you know, not exceeding that $4,500 or $6,000 in a 90-day period. You know, we do an overhaul on a grader right now. I think the last one we did, it was $20-some thousand, just the parts.
Okay, I guess, but you said we can still go to Crown?
As long as if we can show that they're cheaper, we can go to Crown as long as we're not exceeding that $4,500 or $6,000 per 90-day period. We're going to go, Jeff, to the cheapest available deal. You know, even if we have a bid on something and someone comes in and says we can get something cheaper, we're going to bring it to you all and say, do you want to do this or not?
Okay, I guess I'm trying to follow this. So the only advantage of doing this is that we can just go get it if it exceeds the 6,000 threshold. If you're getting stuff from Crown and it's cheaper, and they didn't even bid this, I don't know.
All right, they got to buy Case parts, or if they're, they got a Kubota or whatever they may be. I mean, you're only going to be able to get those parts from.
Yeah, we can only get like the Case parts from them. You know, Shepherd's or Cat, you know, doesn't carry the parts for, you know, their competition.
So is that why they're not bidding? Because I know we have to come to them?
Well, Caterpillar did. No, I don't think so necessarily. I really don't know. We run into this with concrete pipe and everything else. I don't know if they don't want to take the time to bid it or what the deal is. Because every time we use concrete pipe to where we're going to exceed it, we've got to do an advertisement and get prices and everything else, so. Like I said, the information was sent to them. I don't know why. I have no idea why they.
Well, the problem for Larry and his staff is when you start tearing into something, a lot of times you don't know what you're gonna get into, and, you know, you think it's $4,000 in parts, and next thing you know, it's $8,000 in parts, and while you're halfway into it, you need to finish it.
Right.
So, you know, where can you get parts for a case, big piece of equipment? Well, Crown, or somewhere else, but, you know, it's,
But they didn't bid it, so we'd have to go out to bid. If it hits over 6,000, then.
well, yeah, but.
But they can purchase freely from the 3 that did. I mean,
But they don't have it, right? You're
No,
saying they don't have it.
Exactly. They don't have it. We'll still have to, if we're going to exceed that, we're going to have to talk to the auditor and to.
take additional measures.
Yeah, it just saves us time, Jeff, and it would, you know, when we get out there, if we know like that grader, let's take the high lift. It was putting a new undercarriage under. I know that was 22 or 23,000 right there. Just put a new undercarriage under. If the equalizer bar was bad, it's going to be even more yet. But we won't know that until we get into it. That same way when we do an overhaul, we think it might be just, you know, a valve or something that we can do some minimal repairs to. But once we get in, we find that the piston's all scarred up, and then we're looking at a major overhaul.
I understand it, but I don't understand it.
I know.
That's why don't we tell them, y'all either bid this, that way we can do this, we don't have to play the stupid government games of having to bid stuff over 6,000. And then we can do this all year long. We don't have to worry about exceeding that.
Completely.
But to me,
And if they don't, I mean.
To me,
they would send
if
letters.
your equipment's broke, you need it fixed, or else you're gonna have to go rent it. So, I mean, to me, you're almost in an emergency situation, so, you know, it's gotta be fixed. I need it.
It doesn't happen once in a great while.
Then we can make it an emergency every time.
Yep, works for me.
I'm trying to eliminate the whole problem here and to where they can go get it all year long. We don't have to stop and go.
The majority of our equipment is the trucks, is the majority of it are internationals. The majority of our heavy equipment is Caterpillar. Those two we've got now covered. I don't remember what the third one was. Loud.
Yeah, I understand. This is gonna help. It just doesn't eliminate it. And I was trying to eliminate from the
Like I said,
get-go.
is if we can, this being the first time, Jeff, like I said, I think we'll see it pick up. That, you know, it's always hard to get things started. They're not real sure what they're bidding type of deal. So hopefully we can grow this to where we don't have to worry about it. You know, we've been able to do that with a lot of our automotive parts because of this, the state and federal bids that we can go from AutoZone or O'Reilly's, whoever, they've got them all on state bids. We can able to get it through there. So the Shepherds, the internationals and stuff, just haven't. I'm not sure why. Haven't got to that point yet. So.
I'm fine with this. You can just question how come we can't do it with everything and eliminate a lot of it, and not wait for the legislators to try to fix this for us. They need to raise it anyway instead of 6,000.
That's just what I was getting ready to say. That's something we need to work with MAC and you know, MACTO and League of Cities to try and get this raised up. You know, it's been that way for 20 plus years that I've been here. You know, back when I first started, 4,500 to 6,000 was a lot of money, but now you can stick that in a single overhaul, especially if you go with heavier equipment. So
get that copying machine.
Yeah.
So,
Good
it's not. Yeah, it's not just Uros's. It's everything Crossway. Okay. I know y'all don't have all day. So.
So what's the recommendation then, Jen?
Award to the 3 bidders that bid on an as-needed, if-needed basis.
Okay. I move that we award to all 3 bidders on an as-needed, if-needed basis.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank y'all. I mean to grill you.
Okay.
job.
2017-41, Pest Management Services.
Oh, the SAM Management Services.
What?
I'm just picking on Sam.
Oh. We got 2 bids from this. We've had mics for what?
Excuse me.
6 years now?
Almost, no, 4, I know 4.
Well, they've run through 3. Anyway, I'm gonna go with 6, but, anyway, their pricing hasn't gone up. We had another company come in and bid essentially the same thing that they've maintained for the last X years. Talking to Greg, he feels that there's value added in not having to train and show him around and everything else, and he's overall happy with, everything Mike's doing, so the recommendation is to Mike's Pest Control.
Questions?
I just got it open. So they bid the exact same thing?
Mike's or the other company? Mike's is the same it's been, and yeah, the other company obtained a copy of previous bid and basically mirrored that on theirs.
So we're just looking at the first year? We're not looking out past that?
It's renewable annually, so that's their 3-year pricing that will probably ultimately come into play. But yeah, for this year, you're looking at year 1.
Is Presto X a chain, or is that locally owned, or?
Shane, Columbia or Kansas City or something, I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking Kansas City, and he said they had local technicians, but they're not based in town.
Which one are we looking at? Monthly service, bi-monthly, or quarterly? Did you say that?
Buildings, we've got different services, depending on which building you want to talk about. Juvenile Center, it's monthly service. Public Works is quarterly. Just depending on what kind of application the building's being used for.
I mean, the first year they're exactly the same, so it really doesn't matter, but I was looking out after that, then there are some differences. Minimal.
Yeah, it's very minimal. The first year, if you do the 3-year cost monthly, Mike's is up favorable by $120. 3-year cost bi-monthly, Presto is favorable by $60. And then if you do the 3-year quarterly cost total, Mike's is favorable by $20. I mean, it's virtually a wash.
Who's Mike's?
Like, he's local, he's been doing it. Anytime we've had a problem, he's come back, no charge, fixed it.
Heard of a lot of them, but I was trying to place who that was.
Is that the one with He's been good. I know we
Yeah.
had a mouse problem out there, and after he started, it
Just a
went away.
one-man show.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think I'd rather stay with, if you're happy with Mike and I'd rather stay with Mike.
He's done us good out there
I-
in Public Works, so.
Nope, I'm fine with it too. I was just looking at where the difference was. Because it wasn't exactly the same the first year it is though, so.
We had a few issues over at the health department. Did we get all that straightened out?
Most of the issues with that is that back door and there's a lizard coming in underneath, which is, the lizard is really not a pest, an animal. But yeah, we've got to take care of it.
Better than copperheads. Yeah.
Not supposed to have pets.
Good with Mike's?
Yeah.
I have a
That we awarded
contract.
Mike's Pest Control.
Chris, I have a contract if you'll entertain that.
Okay.
I didn't
I'll
know there
change my motion.
there's someone.
I move that we
Yeah, he
award
come
and
through.
sign the contract with Mike's Pest Control.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 2017-42 Cinder Materials and Hauling.
We put this out for bid. We got 2 responses from Bish's Trucking and Carpenter Construction. Pretty close. The recommendation is for the lowest with availability.
This is just hauling it from there to our shop.
Yep.
We use many cinders, Larry.
We like to. Last year, we actually had to use more sand because we couldn't find any.
Couldn't find any cinders.
Yeah, the sand doesn't work quite as well, but just because it doesn't have the dark contrast. We use cinders more on the gravel roads. We'll mix that with a little salt to put out on gravel, especially in ice conditions.
Okay.
I don't have any questions.
What was the recommendation again?
The lowest with availability.
I move that we award the lowest with availability for cinder materials and hauling.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Do we have any unfinished business? New business, accounts payable review.
I'd ask for approval of accounts payable. Pending review.
Got any on it?
We finished those last month. They came back in.
Okay.
Just credit cards.
Okay.
I move that we approve accounts payable pending review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I was going to try to bring Adam, do Adam and get him out of here, but he just walked out. But I figure, oh, okay. I figure everything else is Larry, so. We're gonna skip around today. I like doing this. It makes Jeff. Assessor's office errors and omissions.
Thank you, Commissioners. I just have one error and omission to take care of. It was just brought to our attention at the beginning of December. There was a entry problem on my part on a Habitat for Humanity house that they owned as of last year, so it should have been on January 1st tax day as a Habitat tax exempt property. It is going back on the tax rolls of full occupancy for next year since there is a non-exempt usage as of January 1/18 for it.
Okay.
That would be all that I have.
Do they need to sign it?
I believe the collector was supposed to be getting a copy of the paperwork to sign. That's what Dawn had told me. Dawn has paperwork for to be signed on it, but I don't know where, if she got it to you or.
I've got a copy of it.
Okay.
I move that we accept the errors and omissions presented by the assessor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Get you out of here. And we'll play with Larry and Eric.
Didn't,
Larry's under the assessor's office errors and omissions too.
Oh.
I thought we had one more.
Is there another?
They were doing
Yeah.
it separate from you,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, Larry, you're up.
This one.
Yep.
This is on the
So you
request
gotta
from
step
Capital
out.
Region
You need to step out.
Medical Center.
You need to step.
Run.
Oh.
Run, Sam. Don't go far, this won't take long.
Okay.
This is on the request from Capital Region Medical Center. They're requesting a refund of overpayment of property taxes based on the 2016 assessment. There was a error in the assessed value placed on their property, and the refund would, well, a correction would have to be made to generate the refund to them, so they're asking for the commission's approval of that.
Okay. This is basically where we had assessed property that they didn't own.
Correct.
Yep. You got any questions?
No, you explained it all to us.
Okay. I move that we make the adjustment and refund for taxes paid on property not owned by Capital Region.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
All right, Sam.
Thank you.
You're back. He probably went and sat in his office.
Thank you, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't have anything made up yet.
Oh, but I was having fun.
Okay, shared drive, stormwater improvements, final closeout change order.
Okay, for your approval and signatures, we have the final closeout change order on Sheer Drive, the Stormwater Improvements Project. This project actually came in under by $1,665.88 for a final contract amount of $107,868.58. And we recommend approval. Is there any questions?
How much did you say it came in under?
$1,665.88.
That doesn't happen very often.
Nope.
Only question I really have is just, is the asphalt portion, did we do that this year, or is that?
It's
okay,
done.
So we already did that?
Yeah, we did a patch. Now some of that, well, Shear's not getting an overlay.
Sheer, yeah, it won't be overlaid for a little while. Charm, the other one we did this year, we did a patch, and it will be fully
Okay.
overlaid next year.
Okay, I didn't know if we were doing both of those, or?
No, just that one, but it has been laid. The asphalt is in place. It turned out good.
So on Charm, we just did some wedging and stuff, and we're
Well,
waiting.
yeah, we did, we actually milled part of it out and then put it back, so.
Oh, okay.
You know, we went full depth on part of the area right over the pipes where we crossed the roads, and then patched it back in, and then we did a little larger section of the top, so.
Okay. You guys good?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Move that we approve the final closeout change order for Sheer Drive stormwater improvements.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Agreement for professional engineering services, Waterford Road, Mount Hope Road, gravel road upgrades.
Okay, this is a new project with engineering surveys and services. Waterford Road was paved, the north portion of that coming out of Centertown back in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s. And at that time, it was actually in two phases, but the last phase of that stopped just north of the North Morrow Creek. And it was identified through the Road and Bridge Advisory Committee over the past several years in looking at the road ratings and looking at gravel roads to upgrade in the future. This was identified as one of the next ones to do, and it's finishing out the remainder of Waterford Road to the intersection of Mount Hope, and then taking that from that section there at that intersection over to Route U. And it's basically connecting, finishing out the asphalt, connecting everything together. Like I said, it was identified through the Road and Bridge Advisory Committee over the past several years as one to do in this current sales tax And this agreement is for the engineering work to be started soon, actually probably next week, surveying. And the goal and the way it's laid out in the agreement that everything would be completed to where we would bid a project early next summer. And we would bid a construction of just the grading only, and we would do paving next year. So I have the agreement with Engineering Surveys and Services for Waterford Road and Mount Hope Road gravel road upgrade in the amount of $53,430. And we would recommend approval of this agreement. Is there any questions?
This is one of the few gravel roads that meets the traffic count, right?
Yes. This road and Les Road are the remainder of the ones that actually meet our current minimum count of 125 cars a day. Going forward, we'll have to look at some revisions to the policy, but these two were identified to be done in this current sales tax period. This one, we committed to doing the grading construction work next year to the property owners. Les Road, we'll start design on that in 19.
So obviously we're gonna do the grading and the culverts and all that next year. And then in 19, we'll do the paving of it.
No, 19 would be the paving, yes.
Okay. And so we have that in the budget. I think there's what, 1.6 for all that, or I'm thinking of something else.
The budget amount, it escapes me right now. I want to say it was around the 500,000, 550,000 range, just for grading only.
For grading only, okay.
We've kind of done them both ways, paved the same year, paved the next year. Right. In this case, we just didn't have the money next year in our budget to be able to do it all at once. So we'll go back to kind of what I would say the old way we used to do it, which works fine.
Right.
There's a toss-up. In the past, we used to try and let it sit over winter so we could find soft spots and get them repaired for the next year. With our changes that Eric's made since he's been here, we're not seeing as many problems with the compaction and stuff. So either way works well for us. So
I really wasn't questioning that. I was just questioning if you had the total amount in there and you're just going to split it over 2 years.
No, next year I just have the budget. Yeah, we'll bid the asphalt in 19.
Right, but
yeah,
you
so
got
it'll
$1 million and we're going to spend 550 next year and you're going to spend whatever the next
whatever
year.
it is the next year. Yep.
That's what I was wondering.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah. What, I mean, I don't have a question on this one. What's Les Road that's gonna be right after that then? Or are y'all starting on design on it now too?
We don't have it in next year's budget to start design. We'll do it in 19. Start
Design 19 and then maybe
probably
20.
20 or 21. Do
Okay. Because I know they're gonna be asking, because we're talking about it now and it'll be in the newspaper, and so. It's essentially a done deal, but not until 20 or 21.
Yeah.
So, okay, very good.
well, it's not a done deal until we get all the right of ways.
Well, true. There you go.
That's one of the issues we had on Waterford when the reason we stopped is we had some right-of-way issues across the road over there, or across the river. So the landowners have now all indicated they want it. So 20 years later, we'll get the other.
Is that the only straight road in Cole County?
It's one of the few.
One of the few.
I was just looking at that.
Mount Carmel was the other one. We finished it a couple of years ago. So.
I move that we sign the engineering contract for the Waterford Road and Mount Hope gravel road upgrade with Engineering Surveys and Services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
That wasn't your road, Debbie, sorry.
moving right along. Supplemental agreement number 2, the Crossroads, Southtown Estates, and Rustic Oaks subdivision, stormwater and street improvements project.
Okay,
Before we don't fly.
as we were finishing up the design on this project, we ran into quite a few, what I would say, additional items kind of be out of scope. The way we set these up, generally, it's, there's some room for some revisions, that normal average revisions that come up through the course of negotiating with property owners. In this case, we had several items that had to be changed multiple times to get everybody satisfied to sign the easements in the right-of-way for the project. We also added in some additional survey and design work along Greenbrier, and at the time we were doing this, we just verbally agreed that we would figure out everything in the end and do a supplemental if there wasn't enough money in the contract to be able to pay for the extra work. So it was summarized, and the additional amount needed to complete all the design work on this project is $12,355. And generally, you know, we don't like to see things come up and adding to the cost for work like this. And so we look at percentages relative to the contract amount, the construction amount, to see how things are tracking. And I did that, and the two other projects to compare to are one that's currently under design and we have an estimate on, and then also one that's finished that I have a firm comparison to percentage-wise. And even with adding this additional cost to the engineering part of this project, we're still coming in about 1% under, or 1.5% under what the two other comparable projects are for engineering design. So I feel comfortable that this is justified, this additional expense, just tracking with other costs of other projects. So after seeing that, I felt like it was necessary and reasonable to add this to the agreement. So the supplemental agreement lists out the reasons for the additional work, which is primarily revisions and then additional survey and design work at Greenbrier and Monticello. And it adds $12,355 to the engineering agreement for a grand total of $107,050. And I would recommend approval of this.
So obviously this is supplemental agreement number 2. And so I'm looking at detention ponds and fencing. And so I guess I'm just asking, I mean, since this is the second one and it's not as much as the first one, but anyway, what all are we adding? I mean, what kind of issues have we come across that we've had just a lot of realignment, or so? I mean, that's a lot of dollars to kind of move some drainage pipe and everything else.
Part of that is survey time and design time in addition to the project, totally outside the scope. We had the primary stormwater run through one part of the project had to be redesigned twice, just to satisfy property owners after it had been fully designed and completed. So
satisfy property owners, how so?
To where they would sign the easement.
I mean, so just moving it, or?
Moving it, adding an inlet, changing the grading. I didn't bring a set of plans to show you, but it was pretty substantial. There was 2 locations in which we had to do that, and we had to redesign the detention pond twice for the property owners. It was very difficult to acquire the right-of-way on this one and compared to others. And I think the main reason why, and we learned something, we won't do it again, we had the preliminary design done, and then we held our public meeting. In the future, we'll have just a generic, basic layout of where things would be, do our public meeting, and then do the final design work to counter some of these constant changes. We did that on Meadowbrook and haven't had any redesign since on that one.
Some of the differences also with this, a lot of this was overland flow and parts of it, and we're piping a lot further where we're affecting people that in the past had the water, but didn't have the construction going on in the property. So, like Eric said, it was a little bit of a learning experience on our part, as well as landowners.
So is it areas where we didn't necessarily have stormwater easements?
Yeah, no, none of this.
No, there's no storm.
There's no stormwater easements, period, and it's old enough where there wasn't any, so we're having to acquire all new easements.
Okay.
The only thing we had was basically in the right of way, that oldest subdivision.
Yeah.
I don't even think there was any storm easements that I can remember.
No, there wasn't any. Well, I'll take it back. There was one on one run, just a portion of the stormwater run. We were changing it, so we had to get more anyway, and so we just vacated the original one.
I was gonna say that's right up there in that corner, that rustic in that, there might have been some there from them.
Okay, so the detention pond, are we adding a detention pond in there somewhere?
Yes.
And who's gonna own that?
It'll be on the property owners.
Okay.
It will have a drainage easement for that, but it'll be on their property. Okay. And it's pretty small, and it's at the back corner of a property that was just kind of just an unmaintained ditch, kind of accumulation of whatever. Now it'll be cleaned up, and it'll be something they can take care of, and it also helped with the drainage design through the rest of the subdivision.
So is it gonna be a deep detention pond or something shallow, or?
Really, the way the ground laid, it was more or less just building a berm on basically one side of it. Okay. It's kind of triangular, and that in turn basically dammed it up upstream and just allows for a pool there to drain out slowly. So.
And will that be in the stormwater easement as well? Or?
Yeah.
So if something happens to it, we'll have to go in and fix it.
Yeah, I mean, the property owners know that they'll have to mow it and take care of it.
Right.
But, if something, just like any other storm drainage easement, we go in and take care of it. But, I mean, it's pretty basic. It's just an inlet structure that will allow water to back up during heavy storms and let it out a little bit slower, so it doesn't cause damage downstream, and then also allows the design to be done a little bit easier downstream. So.
Okay. Something that we might all like to look at as we move forward with some more detention ponds.
Yeah, we're getting a lot wiser. We're learning.
I don't know if we're getting wiser.
We got some areas identified.
Well, I know, but it's still.
Massive rainfall events that are causing us to have to do.
Why not?
When we get these rains like we've had, we're still going to have to get in and do repairs. These aren't designed for the storms that we've got the last few years.
So we've acquired all the right-of-way necessary to do all this?
Yep. Okay. All 50 some odd. It was took a little time.
And you sent me something that we're having a pre-construction meeting on that here.
Next week, Wednesday, is a pre-construction meeting, yes.
Okay. All right, I move that we approve and sign supplemental agreement number 2.
I'll second. I had questions too.
Oh, sorry.
What's this gonna do with our budget on that project?
We included that into our carry forward for next year, the budget amount for that project.
Okay, because that's what, this is probably the cheap part of the project, maybe, I don't know, but it's a 60% over what we originally had in design services. And I understand we had a lot of revisions and additions to it, so I'm fine with that part. And like you said, we learned something from it too. I've got jobs that go the same way. You look at it, costs a little more than anticipated, learn something and move on, so. Okay, so we're still good to go.
Supplemental agreement number 1 was actually in addition to the project. It wasn't for revisions.
That was the biggest chunk right there. This is the revisions to some of that, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I was fine with it. I just was curious where we were at on the whole scheme.
So I was gonna ask about that too. Is this gonna add a lot to that contract as far as changes in work, or? Okay.
The construction contract?
Yes.
No, this was all done prior.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we had to change it in the middle of the job, it would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, so catching it this far ahead, so we're good.
Okay.
All right.
We had a motion. You seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving right along, court orders for traffic control on Parkview Avenue and Randall Drive.
Okay, the traffic safety had a meeting back in October. We had some staff requests, setting speed limit on Parkview Avenue, setting speed limit on Randall Drive, and no parking on Randall Drive. First I'll go over is Parkview Avenue. This is that recent NID we just completed. When Eric was out there meeting with the landowners, they asked if we could possibly set a speed limit on this. This is a straight section through here. They asked that it be set at 30 mile an hour, which was consistent with our normal policy in subdivisions of using 30 mile an hour. So it'd basically be from Route T over to Summerhill Drive is a section that we're actually setting the speed limit on. So the rest of the subdivision is, as you can see, back in here is got enough crooks, curves and stuff in the road that the issue's not there. They are seeing it on Parkview Meadows. This is a little closer view of it, showing that it is a straight section of road. We presented this at the October 12th meeting. After discussion, the board voted to recommend setting the speed limit to 30 mile an hour on Parkview Avenue from State Route T to Summerhill Drive.
So do we have speed limits posted in Parkview Meadows subdivision?
Normally, we don't set speed limits or signs in the subdivisions themselves. Most of the time, the geometrics of the street design and stuff controls that by itself.
Okay. The only concern I have is there's a pretty steep hill coming off Summerhill down through that bottom there. Is that where they're seeing people that are probably
They haven't, it has been brought to our attention if there is an issue back here.
So who requested it then?
This here is when Eric was meeting with the property owners for the NID, correct, Eric?
I believe it came through the three homeowner association chairs.
Okay.
They had been asked about a speed limit out there, and I think their concern was really the main drag, Parkview going in. It's a straight shot, and people flying through there.
And you do have one residence that actually faces right here.
Right.
But I think just in general, it was just a general request that came up, now that this is in the county, will you put a speed limit sign up? And Larry said we normally don't, like I said, geometrics normally control that, but I think, in some, the main road leading into them, we do have some out there.
It just seems like most people coming in and out of there are the residents, so.
That's always the issue when you have speeding. It's the people that live in the subdivision. I did have one time where a lady sent in a request for a speed limit. And it got set, and I think she might have been the first one to
get a ticket.
Get a ticket. I do have a court order here if you also agree.
Is that is that inside the city limits of St. Martin's or not?
Just
go back there. You can see the little dash line there. That part actually is in the city limits. And then it goes.
So obviously, can the sheriff or his deputies enforce that speed limit there? Since it's inside the city limits
I
of
don't
St.
know
Martin's?
if St. Martin's has set that speed limit yet. I have to check with Doug Reese.
I mean, because if we set a speed limit there and people are speeding, they're gonna call the sheriff and they're gonna want him to write tickets.
Yep.
If he can't write tickets, then it's kind of a mute
I don't know
point.
what kind of agreement St. Martin's has with the sheriff.
Well,
That whole street's in St. Martin's then, or is it half the street's in the
Most of
city
it.
and half's in the county? I
most
see
of
that
those-
dotted line there, but does that mean that whole street is St. Martin's, or does that mean we have, it's kind of like some of them spots in Taos that, well, they cross the road down there, mind, that's a little different.
So if that's in the municipality of St. Martin's, they would be responsible for hearing that case on speeding, and, I mean, it'd be a municipal case, wouldn't it?
It should, but they go to, if they don't have a municipal court, it goes to to the Associate Circuit Court. Because that would be a state road, right?
Well, it's a public road. I'm not sure how that all works, Joe.
It's not state.
No, it's not state, but it.
Be city street, right?
Yeah, it's city
So
street.
that'd be like if somebody got pulled over in St. Thomas, that would, St. Thomas isn't gonna hear it, it'd go over here to the associate court.
Because they don't have a municipal court.
Yeah.
Like Jeff said, he's only.
Taos, Wardsville's probably, they're all probably the same way, as long as it's not on state routes. So, but I mean, that would be the concern too, is, I mean, are we able to enforce it? So, but we should be able to.
I would think so. I mean, I know he's made that claim several times that he's only gonna,
You'd have to ask John.
yeah.
30 miles per hour is barely moving through there, is that?
Going down a hill too. It's kinda like trying to do 30 going down Southwest Boulevard.
Amen.
I mean, you can do faster than that on a bicycle. I mean, I'm good with it. I mean, I just, you know, John's got to patrol it. He's gonna come back and ask us for more money.
So what we're gonna do when somebody else comes back and says that's way too slow, let's bump it to 40, we're gonna look at it again?
Well, we've done that. I'm on traffic safety, we've done it.
So we're gonna look at it again?
It'll go to traffic and
It'll
safety.
go
if
traffic
there's a
and
request,
safety.
right?
So we'll look at it again?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
because it's gonna come up. Hey, if you're fine with it, I'm fine with it, Chris, that's on your side, I'm just going direct calls to you and say, what are y'all voting on this for, 30 miles per hour? I was speeding on my bicycle.
The way it's set up currently, it would actually, the request would come to the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board. If they choose not to honor it, it dies at that point. Now, the landowners can come and ask for a special meeting before the commission, but the board actually helps you all by weeding out some of the requests, so you don't have to deal with all of them.
That's fine, my question was, are we gonna look at it? Because you know somebody's gonna come forward and say,
We always
look,
do.
30 is way too slow on there. I mean, is it, that's not a high residential area right through that way anyway, is there? There's a couple
No,
houses through there.
There's one house on there. It's a
So you don't have
thoroughfare
traffic coming
to-
in and out of there all the time, so.
Well, you wouldn't think, I mean, just the people that live there, and that was my point. They're trying to get to and from their house, and as they do, so, I mean, they're the ones that are doing the speeding.
Yeah, they're the ones requesting it, so that's kinda.
Well, some of them requested it, so.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, usually it's one person, and are we catering to one person here? So, if you're fine with it,
Well, I mean, I'm fine because the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board heard it. Hopefully they vetted it, and they're bringing that recommendation, so.
And it fits our standard policy of 30 mile an hour in subdivisions.
And Eric, you said the homeowners association was the one that brought it to you, so.
sometimes that's
Which is
one
why
person.
No, it's actually 3 of them.
Which
Well,
is
it's
why.
Oh, three.
why
Yeah,
I
it could be
think
just
we-
those three, it could be multiple people asking them, I don't know.
The good thing about this area out here, they do have neighborhood meetings. I mean, we've attended a couple of them that, you know, they still have the homeowners association out there. So, and knowing the three people that's on that we work with the NID, I don't see an issue there with that. They tend to, you know, every time we talk to individual landowners, that basically what the three officers told us is what we heard from them too. So.
That's fine. Two things, I don't live out there, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna complain about it.
I do have a order.
Till, if they do have a complaint or they wanna change it, they can always come back to us and it can be heard, so if everything's good,
Put
we'll
in a
live on.
speed bump.
No. No.
No, those aren't even fun. Because you can have a sign sitting right there with the arrow pointed, speed bump, you're looking at the sign, by that time you hit your head on the ceiling. We can have the lit stop signs too. I sent you, jar your teeth out. All right.
Take care of a snowplow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I move that we accept the recommendation by the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board for a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit sign on Parkview Avenue.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Next one we have is on Randall Drive. Again, this is an NID. As you can see here, the NID ran from Scott Station back to this area right here. And this request was from our staff. We presented the findings to the Traffic Safety Board again at the October 12th meeting. The board voted to recommend setting the speed limit to 30 mile an hour on Randall Drive, located east of the Scott Station Road for a distance of approximately 950 feet to be set at 30 mile an hour. This section is a section that was recently brought up to county standards by the Randall Drive Neighborhood Improvement District and brought into the county road system.
So will we have a sign coming off of Scott Station going in, and then where?
There'll be a sign put it right in this area right here.
Just one?
Yeah.
There won't be any signs coming out?
No.
Because I would imagine that probably the people that weren't part of the NID are probably the ones that are probably flying through there.
And that's something I can talk with Aaron and Larry. We may want to put one back here just for the people coming in, because there's probably 15, 20 homes on pass coming into it. So
Don't put the speed limit sign in front of somebody's house that didn't want it. I could see that already.
Be nice.
we could.
I have been
Well,
nice.
I mean,
There were a lot of them that didn't want it. So don't put a big speed limit sign or them arrow signs or anything, so.
Oh, goodness.
It's our right of way, so we can do what we want to, but it's, all
We
right.
try to take landowners' homes in consideration when we put these in.
I move that we accept the motion, or the recommendation by the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board for 30-mile-per-hour speed limit signs on Randall Drive.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Again, this is our staff request. Again, the subdivision is a lot of multifamily dwellings in here. They have provided off-street parking for all of it. When we put this street in, I've got some pictures of it. This is coming off of Scott Station, going down the hill. As you can see, it's fairly sharp curves in the subdivision. We would like to make this no parking both sides of the road, since they do have off-street parking. We also have a hammerhead back here in the back to turn our snowplow. This is the end of our maintenance right here, where we turn our snowplows around. We want to include that hammerhead into the no parking. You can see it here. This is coming back out the other direction. Coming back up the hill to Scott Station, so.
So it'll be no parking on the entire street?
Yes, on a portion we maintain. We presented to the Traffic Safety Board again. They did recommend no parking be allowed on both sides of the street, as well as in the hammerhead.
So what is it now? Free parking everywhere? I mean, you
We didn't
can
have-
park
yeah.
both sides, or?
Yeah, we didn't have anything, this being a new street brought into the road system, there, we didn't have any jurisdiction back in there. This is just recently, and again, when the staff was out there, when we were building this, they started scratching their head, thinking about snow removal on it. We did provide snow removal last year, and we didn't have any issue because there wasn't anybody parking on the street. This is just to make that we have.
Okay. Well, here's what I was thinking. If I'm a person out there, I didn't want the NID, now I'm paying this money every year, and then you're gonna take parking away from me. I'm gonna be a little ticked, but if nobody's parking there
Nobody's
anyway,
parking
that's,
there. We didn't have any issues last year.
okay. Well, I'm sure people can park out there, yeah, just not when it's snowing.
So, I mean, signage wise, or put multiple signs, I mean, how's
Put
that?
several signs through there, just saying, no parking both sides of the road. I know Aaron's not gonna wanna paint the curve all the way through there.
That was my next question.
We might actually, I'm probably gonna ask him to go ahead and paint, that. Because, people tend to look at that, so that's a good place to park. We have issues with Hampton, and we normally try to avoid these anymore. Out off of Henwick Lane, we've got a subdivision back in there that we approved years ago. And every snow season, I get a phone call from the driver out in that area, can you call the sheriff's department, have the cars removed? So even though we have no parking, I don't know if they're painted at this point. I mentioned to Larry about trying to get those painted, so.
So there was one, looked like a parking lot there that was gravel for one of those multi-family units. Is that an issue at all, or?
It hasn't been to my knowledge, but it was a concern of that gravel washing down. Yeah.
And then it's that property owner's there it is. That property owner's responsibility to keep it cleaned up.
Yeah. That property owner is the same that owned the majority in there, so.
Looks like he's redone some of his parking.
We actually worked it out over here. We had an elevation change in this area. He paid for a portion of it to do this at the same time that we did a little section up here along the backside of the curb.
So correct there. Cooperative project.
Yeah. Except for running into unknown utility lines out here, that this project went real well. But we found some Ameren lines that Ameren didn't know they had.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Need to tax him for that.
So,
help pay our lawsuit.
Yeah. Again, there is a court order to be approved if you so agree.
Good?
Yeah.
I move that we accept the recommendation by the Traffic and Safety Committee to install no parking signs on Randall Drive.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That would move right through that. Any other issues?
I'm just looking through some of these legislative things coming through, and I don't know if these are just, they're throwing a bunch of stuff out there, but I don't know if you got a chance to look at any of them. But I can keep a pretty good eye on some of them. I mean, there's different things. There's some that, yeah, let me bring this one up. State reimburses political subdivisions for the cost of incarcerating certain prisoners, and those prisoners have not been charged with a dangerous felony or first-degree murder. Total cost chargeable to the state shall not exceed 14 times effective daily rate of reimbursement. So if we're holding them over 14 days, and we're being told to hold them, but they're not our prisoner, we can only be reimbursed for 14 days of it. So, I mean, that's what I'm reading into it. There's another one, SB 568, which salary commission can pay the presiding commissioner or can increase it by 50%. I'm not sure where that bill's coming from or what the intention of it is. Sam?
Boy,
You doing this?
Commissioner
No.
must really be liked by his other
This is all just pre-filing.
Well, the funny thing is that it has everything to do with all three of the commissioners because they're linked. So,
Because I haven't seen anything, hopefully they haven't brought up the lettered routes again.
I've just started going through them. I've got like 75 of these things, and some of them are 300 pages, and others are over 100. There's some tax stuff that's just crazy. And part of the deal is, I'm just looking at the legislation and guessing. I mean, fiscal note stuff, at the state level, it was handled by our Director of Administration and Budget Officer. And my only involvement was if they needed help in interpreting the legislation, because basically what they're asking for is the fiscal impact on the county. They don't care whether you agree with it or not. There's a different mechanism for registering that, which is basically contact your legislators. But what they want to know is what will be the fiscal impact on your entity.
Well, if that comes back up, that adds like 25% to our,
And I haven't, Larry, I haven't looked through all of it yet.
Oh, yeah, no, it's,
with some
Yes.
large bridges
Yeah.
that concern me very much so.
well, I know it's pre-filing. My thing is bringing it up and you look through some of these and we just got to keep an eye on them. I know we get the fiscal notes come through and like you said, the one bill's over 600 pages long and
I'm not
that's,
reading it.
I'm not reading it either because it relates to marriage, so
Well, you know, and
they
this-
can do what they want to do.
And the thing is, a lot of this stuff is, people are just trying to get some notoriety
Yeah.
or attention. And sometimes the more outlandish it is in pre-filing, the more attention they get. But when the legislature does get in session, this stuff never makes it off the floor and into a
I'm fine with
committee.
that, but I'm just making sure that we keep an eye on it, because
I know
there's some crazy stuff in there.
we're trying to track it and help, Jill too, on the lettered routes, because that have a serious impact on us, so.
Yeah, if we don't start yelling about it right now,
No,
it
we-
starts to get legs, and then it's even
No.
harder to
Last
shut
3
down,
years
so.
I've sent letters.
Is that one on there again, pre-filing?
I don't know, that's why I was asking.
Okay.
if it is, then we need to,
Are
Last
you
3
on the list for getting public works
we need
stuff?
to,
I've been, the only thing I get is what you pass on to us, Jill. I know the last 3 years when it's been brought to our attention, I've sent emails to Vern Scatter and to Keogh, voicing our opposition to this, at least under the current funding.
For what it's worth to this discussion, I did speak at the ABWA conference. I talked in November. There was a person, and what coalition he's with escapes me, I can't remember, but it was with this coalition or this group working to come up with a funding mechanism for Missouri state highways. And he said that issue was the biggest one that people complained about or voiced their concern about to the different, when they went around the state and had different meetings. And he would be surprised if that would ever go anywhere. But anytime it's out there,
I was
there's
gonna
always.
say that the senator or representative from St. Joe has been the one pushing it, job or
He's
job.
termed out after this session.
I think there was another one somewhere else, but that was a hot button issue with a lot of these, especially rural areas that, I mean, they were.
Mike Burns here lives out in the county. We tell him his is the last road we clean.
Well, he isn't gonna care, because they're usually cleaner than the state roads. So if it's cleaner, all you can do is get to the state route, and you got to turn around and go back home.
Well, they,
We just won't clean it.
like I said, it would be a part of our budget. It would, because they're only, the last 3 years, it's always been tied to what MoDOT has spent on the roads over the last 3 or 4, I think one said 5 years, but, even with all the chip seal that they did, that's still not representative of the cost of maintaining those roads.
Well, Eric did a cost estimate last year.
Yeah.
So if this for some reason comes up, then we just
Yeah.
resubmit what that cost estimate is. But as far as objecting to it, that's when you need to be sending letters to your legislators.
I've been, like I said,
Because it's pointless for me to send something like that to legislative research.
If you see something that specifically has to do with, say, the law enforcement center and reimbursement or whatever, I don't care if you forward me and say, keep an eye on this. If it's public works, say, keep an eye on that one. And we
Well,
can
and
get
John-
everybody in the loop, because it's, like I said, if it gets past just their initial tree filing and stuff, I mean, there's a lot of stupid stuff in here.
Well, what really upset me is last year, the bill that was filed, actually, the county's actually got all the letter routes in previous ones. Some of it, if it was in a municipal boundaries, the city's got them, but under this, the one they filed last year, the county would maintain, you know, the maintenance of it even inside city limits. So like where Route B comes in to Jeff, or Route C, you know, all those, we'd be responsible for the maintenance coming into the cities, which I definitely don't want to get into.
Well, some of these small
Well,
counties,
and
there's no
jail
way.
thing too. Wheeler's on the, sheriffs are on the recipient list. So
But
they
I
will
know,
be
but
getting-
sometimes it slips through our fingers. So if you see something, we really need to make sure we shut down before it gets any legs, and let us know.
But sometimes what the sheriff wants and what we want are different.
Well, that would be on the salary increase, which I caught that.
No, I mean, it could be on per diem, it could be on a lot of different things. You know, obviously, they want more money, but, you know, sometimes I don't always agree with their stance either, so. Anyway.
What scares me the most about the whole deal is Route B Bridge across the Osage. You know, I don't know how many millions of dollars that'd be to replace that. At some point, it's gonna have to be done. Just rerouting traffic during construction and everything else, so.
Anything else?
We got a new copy machine.
Do you have any copy machine?
Mm-hmm.
No, I have requested a new one in 18 budget.
Who bought one?
Juvenile. Juvenile, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's that one they talked about earlier.
Yeah.
They brought it.
Thought we approved that quite a while back.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been,
Just now coming through.
A couple months, I think, because I was here for that discussion.
Oh, yeah.
I was wondering if somebody else was sneaking one in here or
that's chairs.
Public Works gets the hand-me-downs.
Well, I was
want to get on that list.
Well, I was out in the hall, Jeff Hilke talked to me, and, you know, that we had the glass that broke out. He said, it wasn't vandalism, it wasn't, he said the second time, I guess, that window's gone. And he said, with watching them put in this pane that just went out, it's a big window and it doesn't fit real well, so it flexes. He was saying we maybe need to think about putting plexiglass or some kind of a stronger glass in it, because otherwise it's going to keep happening.
I don't know, I mean, it never has happened all the years I've been here before, so I understand why it happened the last time. because
Yeah.
it got shot at.
Yeah, this time he said there was no sign of vandalism. So he thinks it was maybe put in kind of.
The replacement window after it was shot.
Yeah, was put in.
Not too.
Yeah, I know yesterday I saw the two Brady trucks over there. So anyway, he just said it's something we need. I said, so is a new window in? And he said, no, so if you want to think about replacing it with something else, he knows plexiglass isn't going to look exactly the same, but it might be stronger. I don't know, I'd bring it up.
That's up to you guys, because I'm sure they are ordering what we need. As we so went away yesterday doing.
Yeah. You hate to think that,
Is it more expensive, or?
I have no idea. You hate to think that wind can break a window. I don't know.
Well, as Debbie said, that's never happened in however many years.
28.
I mean, it sounds to me like whoever replaced the shot out window.
So did it totally shatter, or?
I just saw the trucks over there yesterday afternoon. We had 2 Brady's trucks.
No, actually,
And-
we didn't even know it had happened, so until somebody had looked up there and seen it.
Little crack or something?
No, I think it's big. It's like a 6 foot by 5 foot thing. Black paint or something.
They're not tempered either.
Did it shatter, or was there just a crack in it, or what?
There was big slivers, and I don't know,
Oh.
I have to get Mark over here. I didn't physically go over there. He was gonna send some pictures. Did he send some pictures? He told me he was gonna send me some pictures.
You don't want to see the pictures he sends me.
And Mark,
Is that out loud? Sorry. No, I did not get any pictures.
Okay, anything else?
No, let's get out of here before I get in trouble.
I didn't have anything.
Yikes.
Move we stand in recess till 4:30.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
you guys